Every man's happiness is his own responsibility. Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. I have said 100 times, and I have no inclination to take it back, that I believe there is no right, and ought to be no inclination in the people of the free states to enter into the slave states, and to interfere with the question of slavery at all. I have said that always. The leading rule for the lawyer, as for the man of every calling, is diligence. I can make more generals, but horses cost money. When Southern people tell us they are no more responsible for the origin of slavery than we are, I acknowledge the fact. When it is said that the institution exists, and that it is very difficult to get rid of it in any satisfactory way, I can understand and appreciate the saying. We can succeed only by concert. It is not, can any of us imagine better, but, can we all do better? Oh, yes, you Virginians shed barrels of perspiration while standing off at a distance and superintending the work your slaves do for you. It is different with us. Here it is every fellow for himself, or he doesn't get there. I will prepare, and someday my chance will come. If ever I feel the soul within me elevate and expand to those dimensions not wholly unworthy of its almighty architect, it is when I contemplate the cause of my country, deserted by all the world beside, and I standing up boldly and lone and hurling defiance at her victorious oppressors. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? What kills a skunk is the publicity it gives itself. There may sometimes be ungenerous attempts to keep a young man down, and they will succeed, too, if he allows his mind to be diverted from its true channel to brood over the attempted injury. Concede that the new government of Louisiana is only to what it should be, as the egg is to the fowl, we shall sooner have the fowl by hatching the egg than by smashing it. My dream is of a place and a time where America will once again be seen as the last best hope of earth. Everyone desires to live long, but no one would be old. The shepherd drives the wolf from the sheep's throat, for which the sheep thanks the shepherd as his liberator, while the wolf denounces him for the same act as the destroyer of liberty. Plainly, the sheep and the wolf are not agreed upon a definition of liberty. I pass my life in preventing the storm from blowing down the tent, and I drive in the pegs as fast as they are pulled up. Gold is good in its place, but loving, brave, patriotic men are better than gold. Our Declaration of Independence was held sacred by all and thought to include all, but now, to aid in making the bondage of the Negro universal and eternal, it is assailed, sneered at, construed, hawked at, and torn, till, if its framers could rise from their graves, they could not at all recognize it. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. I never had a policy. I have just tried to do my very best each and every day. It is a great piece of folly to attempt to make anything out of my early life. I care not much for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better for it. He who molds the public sentiment, makes statutes and decisions possible or impossible to make. You can please some of the people some of the time, all of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but you can never please all of the people all of the time. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Let the people on both sides keep their self-possession, and just as other clouds have cleared away in due time, so will this, and this great nation shall continue to prosper as before. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. Nothing new here, except my marrying, which to me is a matter of profound wonder. In the end, it's not years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. I don't know who my grandfather was. I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. Why was the amendment, expressly declaring the right of the people to exclude slavery, voted down? Plainly enough now, the adoption of it would have spoiled the niche for the Dred Scott decision. The assertion that all men are created equal was of no practical use in effecting our separation from Great Britain, and it was placed in the Declaration not for that, but for future use. No policy that does not rest upon some philosophical public opinion can be permanently maintained. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. The people themselves, and not their servants, can safely reverse their own deliberate decisions. If you have never failed, you have never lived.